And welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, Episode 8, Time Amok. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of Star Trek Prodigy, so I'll have to start with a spoiler warning for Prodigy up to Season 1, Episode 8 if you haven't seen it up to this point. You won't want to watch this video, otherwise some things will be spoiled for you. So, this is probably my favorite episode of Prodigy so far. I think this is probably the best episode they've had. It's definitely the best episode since they had since the pilot. And I probably would say I like it more than the pilot. Because it's... Alright, so it's another, time has gone weird sort of Star Trek episode, and I had mixed feelings because when I saw the title Time Amok, which I knew was I wish Prodigy would get some more original titles instead of just riffing off titles of other Star Trek episodes, but I knew it wasn't going to be about Pon Far because this is a kids show, so I knew it was going to be about time. So as soon as I saw the title, I was like, oh, this is going to be a weird time thingy episode, and I had mixed feelings about that because part of me, I love when they mess with time in Star Trek. Those are usually my favorite Star Trek episodes, like Year of Hell, Timescape, Shattered, which this episode is very similar to but still different from, and so those are always my favorite Star Trek episodes, but I had a concern because Prodigy had a tendency to take the tropes or cliches of Star Trek and just do them in a very unoriginal and boring fashion that offers nothing new. But thankfully, that's not the case with this episode. They actually do something that hadn't really been done in Star Trek before. As I said, it's felt a little similar to the Voyager episode Shattered, where the ship was shattered in different time frames and every different part of the ship was a different point in time. But this one was different, where each person was moving at a different time rate. So everyone was disconnected from each other and felt like they were alone on the ship because they were each moving at different time speeds or whatever, and that's interesting to me. I thought that was extremely interesting. But moreover, they used the story for character building and the camaraderie of the crew together, and each of their individual characters never came off stronger in any other episode than this one. This one is, I think you really get a strong, they really did a great job of really delving into each character. I think maybe Jacob Pog is the one that we delve into the least because his time frame was the really fast one, which is it needed to be for the plot because he's the engineer, so they needed to have the non-engineers having to solve an engineering problem. So yeah, we didn't get much character development on him, and he's always been my least favorite anyway. And Murph, of course, is just a comic relief, and that's how they clearly established Murph in this episode, which I'm fine. I love Murph, but with most of the other characters, especially Rock Top and Dull and Gwyn. And even Zero a little bit, we delve into them, and also the camaraderie as a crew. And I gotta be honest, I gotta be completely honest. I think that 8 episodes into Prodigy, and they're already doing a better job of convincing me, of developing every single character and convincing me there's a camaraderie with the crew than Discovery has done after 4 seasons. A Discovery, the main characters are developed, sure, but you have all those other bridge characters who the main characters interact with and claim that they have a friendship with and claim that they love and that there's camaraderie with them, but I don't see it. It's a tell not show situation. Also, even amongst some of the main characters, they constantly are saying, "Oh, we love you. Oh, we care about you. Oh, I love you," and that's always more of a tell not show situation, and that's one of my main issues with Discovery. Now, don't get me wrong. I think overall, especially season 4 Discovery, I'm way more interested than in Prodigy. But that is one of the complaints I've always had about Discovery, is that they tell not show about the camaraderie and the closeness and the relationships between the characters, and I don't feel it, and I don't feel like a lot of these characters have not been developed. They're basically just sir, like one note characters, and so Prodigy in this one episode basically sold to me. It showed to me. It did not tell the camaraderie between this crew, and it really fleshed out and developed each of these characters. Now, it does help they have less characters, but but still, not even halfway through season 1, and Discovery is like more than halfway through season 4, and they already did it. But anyway, that's just my opinion on that. But anyway, so the episode starts out when they're in a holodeck, and I love this sequence. Like, I think this whole story, the way the story of the episode progresses, is really well done. Like, I love the Janeway having her log saying that, after the failure of their first contact, and I do love that. I love that they've referenced the previous episode, and I love that the crew failed. Like, as soon as she said that, I was like, that's kind of unique that to a Star Trek show that they're actually saying, hey, they messed up. This is a bad thing they did, and they have to recover from it. And so she's trying to do team building exercises, which is a great setup for what this episode will do. And it's kind of, this is where it gets, it's a bit cartoonish and meant for kids, but that's fine. I got no issue with that, where they're just joking around, like, oh, it's the chicken and the fox, and they try to, so it did feel very cartoonish, but it is a cartoon, so I don't mind that. And then, of course, seeing Murph in the boat floating away. They're like, we gotta get in the boat, and Murph is just floating away in the boat. I'm sorry, I love Murph. And I love that. That was hilarious. But then the accident happens, where all the different time frames get shattered, and I love how they use Janeway, that since she's a hologram, she's able to calibrate her sort of flip between the different timelines, or not timeline, but you know what I'm saying, time frames, I guess, and that so we basically, for the first part of the episode, we get to see it through her perspective, which I like. I thought that was really interesting and cool. And also, I kind of skipped over the fact that Dahl revealed to Janeway that they weren't really Starfleet cadets, and Jenkins Pod was very upset about it, and Dahl was assuming that Janeway wouldn't help them anymore, but Janeway was like, I don't care if you're not, and he even flat out said we stole the ship. But I do, she's like, I'm programmed to help my crew, which you might think, like, doesn't make sense, because if, like, pirates stole the ship, she would probably work to expel the pirates and get rid of them. But I think this is a different situation. I think that Janeway, this Janeway hologram is advanced enough to recognize that. And of course, Zero explained the entire situation. We saw that off screen, where Zero explained that they were escaping from a prison, and they're being hunted and all that, and so I think she would really consider all those nuances, and that is why she was like, you're my crew. So I totally buy that she would do that, by the way. So we get this her perspective as she jumps between time frames, and then after Jenkins Pog has a set, who's the engineer, so he has to die immediately. But then she goes over to Rocktop, who is being useless, and mainly because of her, she has no self-confidence. She doesn't think she can accomplish anything, and she happens to be in a time frame that's moving very, very slowly. So she has the biggest advantage over everyone, but she doesn't want to use that advantage because she has no self-esteem and thinks she can't accomplish anything. And so then Janeway jumps over. I think she gets to Dahl next, and Dahl actually, he at first doesn't have any confidence, just wants to play video games, but Janeway has to talk him into it. And again, I think this is great character development for him, and he eventually begins to build the sort of warp thingy, whatever, doesn't matter. It's all junk science and Trek anyway, but he builds the thingamabobber, and but it isn't quite complete, so I guess... Oh yeah, I jumped over Zero as well. Janeway went to Zero first, and Zero is the one who came up with the whole plans, because Zero's a genius. But Zero's time frame was moving too fast as well. Again, same reason that Jenko's is fast, is that they can't solve the situation too easily for the plot, which I'm fine with. And then so Zero comes up with these schematics, and Janeway takes them to Dahl. And Dahl, of course, doesn't have the materials to just simply make it, so he has to work very hard, and eventually gets the thingy-mabob. But then he dies, and his time frame ends, and so Janeway, I love how Janeway, the Murph time frame, again, I love Murph. I love how Janeway's like, whoever's here, we need your help, you have to finish these schematics, and Murph just shows up and goes, and Janeway's like, oh god. I love that. So good. But then she finds Gwen in the next time frame, and Gwen, of course, is finishing this. And then this is probably my least favorite part of the episode. Is I don't like the bad guys of the series, and I'm still that way, because we see that the diviner or whatever, he gets the information from the Ferengi that where the ship is, and it's like it's too far away to get to, but he comes up with the evil plan to like create his robot henchmen on the protostar using their shipbuilding thing, and then I guess they can... I don't know if this is the same one or just a duplicate of his henchmen, but whatever it is, he shows up and starts trying to take over the ship from Gwen, and I guess it did build a bit of an excitement. It created another obstacle to overcome, and it actually made things a lot worse, because he had like Chakotay's code and like used Chakotay's voice to delete Janeway. But Gwen managed to blow him out into space, but in doing so also blew out the thingy-mabob, and so wasn't able to finish the work. So that left, and then she blew up, so that just left Ragtop as the last person. What about Murph? Anyway, so... And I love the message that she sent to Ragtop. It was really touching, saying, because, and again, I think this is great for a kids show, but it's also good for adults. But it's really saying, because they were pushing Ragtop to be the security chief. She's like, I don't want to be the security chief. And then Gwen was like, I'm sorry that we pushed you to do that. You should do whatever you want to do, but we really need this. We're counting on you. We believe in you. And her response was, no, don't believe in me. I can't do it. And again, this is where I kind of have to suspend disbelief, because it implies that she has been trapped in there for years. And so she eventually, but the fact that she's able to like learn quantum mechanics and all this stuff is like, even if it's been years, like, I don't know, it seems a bit far-fetched to me. But anyway, she figures out she finally steps up, she figures out how to get Janeway back in line. And it turns out she had already created the thingy, she just didn't know what to do with it, which is why she needed Janeway, and they saved the ship. And to see them like hugging and reunited the crew together after they've been apart, like, it was heartwarming. Like, it really makes me feel like, again, this is, I think Prodigy has earned already that this is the camaraderie between the crew and the feelings they have for each other, and that this is a team already, and I love it. And I think I think it was really well earned. I didn't really like the cliffhanger, the henchman eyes turning on again, though, but whatever. They gotta, I guess, it is a kids show. They gotta keep the evil thing. I just wish they'd get rid of these evil guys. I don't like them. But anyway, maybe they'll do something interesting within the future. I don't know. But anyway, my rating for Time Amok out of 10, I'm going to give this a 9. Excellent. I think, not quite a 10 for me, but I do think it's a really good episode. They use weird sci-fi situations in a very a very Star Trek way, I should say. It felt very Star Trek-like without being cliche or overdone or rip-off, and they used it for character building, for building the camaraderie of the crew, and had some great comic relief in there along the way, and every character's arc felt natural and made sense, and you felt the sense that this was a family by the end of the episode. So I love it, and I want more of it. Anyway, that is it for my review of episode 8 of Star Trek Prodigy. I'll be back, of course, to cover the final 2 episodes of Prodigy before our little break, and then Discovery will return, and Picard will return, and then Strange New Worlds is going to start, so who knows when Prodigy is going to finish up, but whatever. I'll be covering all that week by week. I also cover all things Star Trek on my channel, as well as other shows such as The Expanse, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and more, so be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.